Hi all. In today's class, we'll be addressing the concept of temp tables. Just as the name implies, it sounds like temporary tables, all right? Temporary tables, aka temp tables. Why is it called a temp table? A temp table is a table, a table that exists only during your session. On this session now, on this sheet I'm on, any temporary table I create is only going to exist on this session. It's not going to be saved anywhere here like we can see these ones saved. All right, this is a table, this is a table, this is a table. These are not temp tables. Temp tables, you can't find them anywhere here. It only exists during your session. The moment you log out, you sign off, it's gone. Okay? It's for short-term analysis, also and in SQL Server, temp tables may begins with an hash. Okay, so these are what you need to know about temp tables. That said, let's go ahead to create our first temp tables. We already know that to open a table, you can say select asterisk from restaurants data set, right? This is what we are all familiar with. If we add certain kind of conditions like or querying, want to query where location equals Abuja, I want to store the results I have inside from this statement inside a temp table. And the temporary table I want to create for this particular activity, I'm going to call it Abuja Restaurant. So it's more like using the select statement and the insert into statement at the same time, right? Select everything from restaurant data set where location equals Abuja, insert into, STEM table that I'm creating. Call it Abuja Restaurant. Okay, something like that. So SQL says instead of using the whole insert into, you can just type in into and put in your table name, call it Abuja Restaurant. Look at the arrangement. Look at the arrangement. To see it like this. So select all from restaurant data set where location equals Abuja. Before from, that is where you introduce your into statement and your temporary table name. So if I highlight execute, it shows that 37 rows have been affected. This looks like we have done something direct on the table, right? It then means we have successfully created a new table, and inside that table, the content of that table is Abuja restaurants. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. I can go ahead and type in select asterisk from, just like we do for our regular tables. The moment I type in hash, SQL has identified that I'm trying to call out a temporary table stored in this session. And the only temporary table stored in this session for now is my Abuja restaurants table. Look at it there. So I can double click it, highlight, and execute. And this is it. Everything I have in here are only only for my Abuja restaurants. Everything I have in here, this particular table only contains data concerning Abuja restaurants. Timetable looks interesting, right? So if this is what you want, you can go ahead to export your result by simply by simply right-clicking on this result pane here and select save result as or print, however way you want to, can print it as a PDF. This if I select Microsoft Print to PDF, what that would do is that it will save my result as a PDF file. If that is what I want, if that is not what I want, I can just save result as, and to save my work as a CSV file, and then I give it whatever name I want. The downside is you might need to rename the columns yourself. Okay, that said, let's explore more on temporary table. There are many interesting ways we could use temporary tables. This time around, I want to play with temporary tables on group by. So I will say select just type in select from restaurant data set. What do I want to select from restaurant data set? I want to select cuisine type. I also want to do a count. I'm not going to specify any column in particular. Count everything and call it total restaurant, just like one of our previous examples. Okay. Now, I also want to do a group by for this particular example. So I'm going to buy Zing type. So that said, I've introduced new elements. I introduced as, I introduced group by. So if I want to introduce my temporary table, where do you think is going to be? Okay, I want to believe you have guessed right. It's going to be before from, remember, into, and our temporary table always starts with an hash, and I want to call this temporary table within count, right? Then I execute, and it shows that 3 rows has been affected. For me to display my results, let me select all from a new temporary table. The moment I type in hash, it's showing me the 2 temporary tables I've created in this section. The first one we created was Abuja restaurants, and the second that has just been created is cuisine count. So I'll select that and execute. And now I have my results. I have three unique cuisine types: continental, intercontinental, and Nigerian. We have 2 continental. Remember, restaurant 5 and restaurant 6. Every other one is either intercontinental or Nigerian cuisine type. Okay. Okay. Trying to explore more options. So, what if we want to explore using temp tables with the where statements? Let's see how that works. So this time around, I'm going to be working with restaurant name. and location, restaurant name and location. Also want to work with rating. Okay. And I want to also, I'm not going to use group by this time. I want to use the where statement now, where rating is greater than or equal to 4. Okay. So my new temporary table name in this case is going to be high rated restaurants, because what I'm trying to achieve now is display and high rated restaurant. What am I trying? High rated restaurants, yes. High rated restaurants. Okay, that's what I'm trying to extract out of my data or query from my data. And I've seen 152 rows affected. It means this new table I've created has only high rated restaurants. So go ahead and call the table out. This is my new table name. Okay. And this is the result. So this particular table only contains high rated restaurants. And the columns for this particular table is restaurant name, location, and rating. No plenty columns, just the important ones. That is what temporary table can do. So we've explored using temporary tables on the most basic note, to using it with a group by statement, to using it with a where statement. How about using temporary tables, uh, case statement? Okay. Okay. Trying to think of the example I'm going to use. Okay, so I think I'm still going to make use of this selection, restaurant name, location, and rating. Let me make use of that. And then I open the case by pressing tab on your keyboard, tab to create an indentation, and then type in case, enter. Press another tab again to create another indentation. Case statement arrangement is key. So when rating is greater than or equal to 4.5, then my response should be excellent. Okay. Another one again. Rating is greater than equal to 3.5, then my response should be good. Else, every other thing should fall into average. And then the end. See that the case and the end are the beginning case and end. Okay, they are on the same line, while when and else are indented still on the same line. Arrangement is key. So whatever this result is going to be, I need the column to be represented as rating status. rating status. We've not identified the table we are going to be working with. Okay, so from, first I'm going to be working with my restaurant data set. Great. There's still something. Remember, we are working with temporary table. We're working with temporary table. So here am I going to put my into statement and the name of my temporary table. You might have guessed it right. Oh, it's supposed to come before from. Okay, so it should be here. So into ash, I'm gonna call this rating category. That's what I want to call the name of my temporary table. I hope I got my restaurant name. Okay, let me run this and see if there's an error. I'll know where it's coming from. Yeah, the keyword case. Okay, there was supposed to be a comma here. And I have 474 groups affected. That means everything I have on my original table has been affected on my new temporary table, except that the only new thing I'm going to have is a column called rating status that has something like excellent, good, average. Let's see. Let's see. I'll just copy this. Rating category. Great. So, restaurant name, location, rating, like I did here. And now a new column called rating status. What does rating status contain? Average, excellent, and good, based on the conditions I placed here. 4.5 excellent, 3.5 good, else average. And that is what we have. Temporary table is working just fine. You can also explore temporary table on join statements, what and what not. Okay, so I'll be ending. Or, okay, before I call it a day on this particular lesson, let me go into a more complicated, like not necessarily complicated, but a more professional, more serious use case for temporary. So I need to use this with a join statement. I want to select, sorry, my rules. I want to ensure that all SQL commands are capital letter. I want to select location. I want to count. I want to count distinct. Remember distinct? I want to count distinct restaurant ID. Restaurant ID. I know, small letter ID. I want to call it as total location. Okay. And then I want to also find my average price. Average price. So I'm making use of two functions now, count and average. For count, I'm using restaurant ID. For average, I'm using price. Okay. And I want to from restaurant data sets, and I want to perform an inner join and join restaurants operations data sets. Okay. Now, before I go ahead, I want to represent restaurant data set as RD and restaurant operations data set as RO. Okay. So now I can go ahead and put in on RD dot. The primary key for restaurant data set was restaurant ID. Where are you? Equals restaurant operations data set represented as RO. And the primary key for that table was also restaurant ID. Okay. So for my location, where am I picking my location from? Is it RD or RO? I think I'll be picking it from RD. Okay. Same thing with restaurant ID. I'll be picking it also from R. And now my price, am I picking it from RD or RO? I would like to pick price from RO. Okay. And we are good, except that we have one element missing, which is our temporary table. Okay. I want to also do a group by as well. I'm trying to add everything with almost everything with touch as possible. So I want to group by RD location. Where am I imputing my temporary table? You must have got it right before from. So until, and I want to call my temporary table location summary. Location summary. Okay. Then is there an as? Okay, I'm supposed to put an as here. For average, I want to call it as average price. Average price. Something like that. Okay. Let's execute this and see if it worked. Okay, it worked, and we have 10 rows affected. Let's see what my results look like. The information on my new table. Location summary. There you are. Execute. And this is it. Display location. Displaying total restaurants in a particular location. Okay. I think I should change this. Total restaurants. So it's not confusing. Oh dear. It then means I need to change my temporary name, my temporary table name, like so. Okay. So the old location summary still exists. Okay. It still exists. The only difference between that one and this new one I've created is the as. Okay. This is it. So these are my location. These are the total number of restaurants in each location and the average prices for the restaurants in all of these locations. If I display, proceed, location summary 1, See that it still exists. Is total restaurant, and one is rightly called total restaurant. The one was wrongly called total location. So how do we get rid of the one you no longer want to use again? We use the drop statement. So we can go ahead and just drop location summary. See, it, uh, okay, so I guess it's not really working fine for our temporary table. So I'll pass. These, my friends, are amazing examples we could use with temporary tables. I hope you enjoyed this class. Looking forward to seeing you in the next. Our next class will be addressing substrains. Then we'll also be addressing how to train, replace, and increase and reduce forms on SQL. We are also going to be experiencing stored procedures and then also explore time series. So see you then. We are making massive progress, and I'm so happy to share this experience with you.